Hi, I'm Duncan for SSW TV, and I'm here on the Gold Coast at the Ignite Conference 2017, and I'm here with Jacob, who's from Microsoft, and you're on the Azure Management Portal team. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's glad to be here. It's great to be in Australia. It's my first time and I'm really enjoying it. And thanks for the invitation for this interview.
Cool, no worries. So you've given a couple of talks here at Ignite, and you gave a great talk talking about your experience on the Azure Management Portal team. And you were going through some of the challenges. Can you share some of that with us today, like the challenges of working on such a big application?
Yeah, sure. So I encourage you to check out the talk, but more or less I was talking about the three main things we challenge, because the Azure Management Portal is one of the largest web apps built, and we have over 500 developers working on that, and we need to face some challenges like how to enable 500 people working on one code base and be able to deliver fast. Also, another thing is when you have 500 people adding code to the product, the performance is becoming an issue as well, because you have all these lines of code. And I think I showed during my talk that only on the shell of the portal, not the entire infrastructure, we have over 1 million lines of TypeScript.
Lines.
Yeah, and this is only the shell of the portal. On top of the shell, like other teams are building different Azure services. And how many lines of code is this in total? It might be over 2 million. For sure, I think, because there is 500 people there, right? So that's another thing, and then at the end, we once we add this code, once we make sure it's fast, then we also need to make sure that we don't break stuff, right? And I talk about different techniques, how we handle regressions. We have very rigor for unit testing. We have continuous delivery. We have continuous integration. We have a lot of tests on different layers of the portal, and also every single service have a lot of tests for their own service.
Yep. So what's it like for a new developer joining that team of 500 developers? Do you just give them a laptop and say, have a go?
Pretty much,
how do you get there? I know for me, sometimes it's a real pain getting set up on a new project. Do you just give them a machine that's ready, or how's that work?
Well, so in Microsoft, on your first day, you just get your machine packed in box. So if you order a machine from Amazon and it's in the box, you need to unbox it, you need to set it up. So that's like the first challenge joining Microsoft. Second challenge is to set up your working environment, which we have in our team. We have it pretty well documented in our team OneNote. And OneNote is great because the search feature in OneNote is like the best search I've ever seen. So they can get started there, and of course, then you ask colleagues about this, different specific things that are specific for the product, not very specific for other projects. And it always takes a while, but usually we make sure, our team leads make sure that this person will not, do some big feature. They will start with small things, and they will start learning, and when time goes, you start learning more about the entire product and you start delivering features. Yeah,
I'm sure it would be a little daunting with 500 other developers not to break anything on your first day.
Yeah, that's I remember when I was doing my first push, I was a little bit stressed out, and I asked a few people hey, am I good? Everything is green here. I did my private run and everything is fine. Yeah, no worries. I pushed, everything was green, so it was all good.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Azure Management Portal and when it started and what technologies that you guys use, because that was a really interesting part of your presentation.
So the Azure portal, I think the first bits were built over 4 years ago, because there was one project manager who had this idea how to build a new portal, because at the time we had what we call now the current or the old portal, which was HTML5 portal, and it just didn't scale because it was one monolithic front end, and then when we were adding different services, we had hard time to ship updates, and I think the release cycle was 3 weeks. Sometimes it was longer because you had to coordinate all of these teams, right? And with the new portal, we created this distributed model that every different service can deploy whenever they want. During my talk, I mentioned how we build it using using iframes and running every service in different iframe as a sort of like a separated application on the portal, which becomes like sort of an operating system in the cloud. So all of this started 4 years ago, and we are using TypeScript, which is great for us, and I really recommend it for large-scale projects, but also for every project, because in TypeScript you don't necessarily have to use strong typing, which is the primary feature of TypeScript, but also you can use the features of JavaScript vNext, which are not available in the current version of JavaScript, and it's pretty common these days that people transpile JavaScript. They usually use Babel or TypeScript. TypeScript is next to Babel's second biggest transpiler, or I would say they're like evenly distributed among the market right now. And we use Knockout JS for our MMVM framework, and it's working great for us. We are lucky enough to work with Steve Sanderson, who created Knockout, and we are actually, even Steve was pleasantly surprised that we didn't run into some blocking issues in the Knockout framework. We didn't run into any like serious performance issues as well.
Yeah, well, that's good testament for Knockout.
Oh yeah. So that's why mainly he joined our team, because he wanted to see how Knockout will behave in this large scale, and it worked very nice. And then after, because he worked with us like 2 years, and now he went back to ASP.NET team, and now he is trying to apply the lessons learned in our team. So like now every developer using ASP.NET Core can use this new improvements and techniques for building front ends.
Cool. So with more than 1 million lines of TypeScript, what are you guys using for a build tool? How do you get that ready to package or bundle?
Well, so we use the Microsoft tool called CoreXT, which allows you to configure your local environment. So it will make sure that every developer is running on the same version of compiler, the same version of .NET, so on and so forth. And we are using MS Build, which is a little bit traditional, but works fine for us, because Microsoft build system is working on MS Build, so that's how we do builds, that's how we deploy. During my talk, I recommended other tools that people working on other projects can be using.
Well, that was actually a really fascinating point of your slide, because you showed this big slide with all these technologies showing Knockout and TypeScript, and I think there was Gulp on there, and MS Build and MS Test. And then near the end you went, but if we were to start again today, 4 years later, with the latest things, what would we use? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what would be the top 2 or 3 things that you would swap out if you were to start again.
Oh yeah, because some people were telling me like, Portal is built with Knockout. Should I build my next project with Knockout? You guys using a Require.js? Should I use Require.js? So I created this slide because JavaScript is changing very fast. It's almost like every week you have new JavaScript framework, and every year there is new big JavaScript framework happening. So I am personally a big fan of Aurelia framework, which I discovered by following one Angular 2 team member blog, Rob Eisenberg, who after some time left the Angular 2 team because he didn't really like how Angular 2 was going, and he created Aurelia. And then he wrote a blog post showing side by side how Aurelia and Angular will look like if you create some simple Hello World app. And it looked very nice. The Aurelia code looked very clean for me, so I give it a shot. And since then, I am doing all my personal projects in Aurelia. And if I were starting a new web app project, I would definitely go with Aurelia. I would still stick with TypeScript because TypeScript is great. And
do you ever meet people who want to go back from TypeScript to JavaScript?
I think we have 1 or 2 people on the team who are saying this classes in TypeScript is not really JavaScripty, because they learned JavaScript before, and they're like, it would be nice if we could use this prototypes, you get to the sort of to the metal with JavaScript, but you can still do it with TypeScript if you want to, right? The only thing is when you have TypeScript and you have classes, people are all starting using it, right? And then you're running from it, right? So that's what we did, right? We are using classes, we are using all these benefits of TypeScript. But again, you can take your JavaScript project, you can change extension name from JS to TS, you can just compile it, and you're running TypeScript. It's definitely something we found at SSW and across the community that once people get into it, they don't want to turn back. It just adds a lot of benefits.
So thanks very much for joining us on SSW TV, and I hope you have a great time here in Australia.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So I'm Duncan Hunter here for SSW TV, and thanks for joining us.